a few weeks ago, and we began to explore where we are as a community, as African Caribbean community in Watford. Um, you will agree with me that the COVID-19 has kind of brought the need for community even more to our consciousness than before. And knowing where we are in Watford with the various communities we have and the population of Watford and the numbers we have, I felt that there was a need for us to reintegrate the African side of WACA back to the association. Because I've been attending WACA's meeting since I moved into Watford since 2012, and I've been involved with WACA. But over the years, there was this sense that the African part of that association isn't really fully integrated in the association. So I've been having conversations with a number of people. When we launched the Nigerians in Watford, we had quite a large turnout. And I was surprised to see the number of people at that launch. And very few of us in that launch were involved in WACA. And that got me curious as to what is going on. So I've had some conversations with various communities, especially from the West African side of Africa. I've spoken to various people, including people from Kenya and the other part of East Africa. And I did some work with Rhoda recently, and we got talking a lot about our people and our relevance to the community. And so we felt that more needed to be done to support our people in Watford, especially given the fact that a lot of the African community are first-generation migrants compared to some of the Asian community and maybe some of the Caribbean community as well. And so we have a younger population in the African community, especially the West African community. So we felt the need to begin to integrate people into this association as much as we can, so that we begin to speak with one voice and take our position in the community, and so that our voices will be heard. As the first African woman to be elected in the council, I've had various challenges trying to raise our voice and trying to ensure that we take our position. But I felt that if I do not have the support of the community behind me, and the numbers we have, as at the last census, we're about 5.7% of Watford population. But I do know that in 2021 census, will be far, far more than that. So if we don't come together to speak as one voice, we will not be able to be representative as it should be in Watford. So we met with Clive, myself, and Rhoda a few weeks ago, and we continued this conversation. I've had some of these conversations with Eva personally from time to time. But the day we met with Clive, we decided that the best thing is to call a meeting so that the various communities from the various African countries can come together with the rest of the association, so we can begin to address how we work together in a more unified way and integrate with each other and address the needs of our community. So that's why we are here today. It's an open meeting, it's flexible, it's for us to generate ideas on the way forward, and also to understand why the African part of this association hasn't been as involved as it should be. What are the barriers? What are the challenges? And what can we do to address them? And what can we do for the next generation? Because very soon we'll be all, I hear someone saying I'll be 18, 20 years or 30 years time. Very soon we will all be getting much older, and we need to integrate the young people. We need them to take the banner of leadership. And the African community have a lot of younger population, and we really need to get on it so that we will not, in the next 20, 30 years, look back and say, oh, we wish we would have done it. So let's take the opportunity now. Now is our time. Let's do it. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Favor. Let me just say then, because it might be helpful for people to understand, because I can see that I don't know everyone who is on this call, but just a reflective piece I think might be helpful. The Watford African Caribbean Association, or as WACA it's often called, was formed in 1976. And when it was formed, it was an organization that was established by people who were born in Africa, as well as people who were born in the Caribbean. So, for example, he's still around. One of our founder members was a gentleman called Sam Lusak, who is still around today. Now, I would say though that at the time, reflecting on what Favors just said there, the population of what I call people of African origin was predominantly one of people who were born in the Caribbean. But I mean, that's nearly 50 years ago now when that occurred. And since then, that African origin population has been transformed. And I think Favor is right. We now have a much younger population of people who came from Africa. So if you look at the school age population now, you'll see that a lot of those people, if they were born here, their parents were born in Africa. Whereas if you look at the Caribbean population of schools now, very few of those parents would have been born in the Caribbean. The common factor though is that, as I sometimes say to people, when you walk down the street, you're not a Jamaican as I am, you're not a Gambian as Amadou is, you're not a Kenyan as Agri is, you're just one of those little black so-and-so according to the racist society that we live in. And by and large, we've all tended to live in our own little cocoon. And it's created good things as well as negative things. So we find that people say, well, look, let me get together with my Kenyan friends, let me get together with my Nigerian friends, let me get together with my Ghanaian friends. But actually, in this country, for us to succeed, whether we're from the Caribbean, whether we're from Nigeria or another part of Africa, we're Africans. And actually, we have to come together, as Favor said, to look at how we're actually going to create an organization. And in this case, I'd be referring to the Watford African Caribbean Association, or WACA, that actually can truly represent that broad spectrum of people. Yes, we have some little cultural differences, and sometimes there are little differences in the food that we eat. But essentially, here we face the same common problems. The root of those problems is the same. And the way we're going to address those, it is going to be by us coming together in a way that is going to enable us to do that. So one of the things we do want to do tonight is to explore what some of those issues are, and particularly some of those issues that colleagues who have a more immediate African experience will be able to share. I was playing a bit of music earlier on before some of you joined from Peter Tosh called African. And he speaks from a Jamaican perspective, and he will say that whether you come from Clarendon or you come from Westmoreland, or they're all bits of Jamaica, you're an African. But he could similarly be saying whether you come from Nigeria, you come from Zimbabwe, or you come from Ghana or Kenya, you're an African. So you may have a national identity, but you also have an African identity. So I think it's appropriate that we come together tonight to kind of talk about where we go with the common issues and concerns that we have. Just my final word around the association before we move on, though, is to say that it is a membership organization. I have put in the chat, but I'll put in the chat again how you can just become a member. We're all members in a way, but for the Charter Commission's purposes, we have a membership process where people should join as members. Membership is currently free, so there is no reason why people shouldn't join. And people say to me, well, why should I join? Well, I think I've explained that already. We cannot sit around and say, oh, let's leave it to somebody else. We've all got to be part of making the change. This organization will be the organization that you want it to be, so long as you're part of the organization to make that difference. We had a couple of years ago, we had some people who thought that they would change the organization, but it wouldn't take up membership. Well, actually, it was impossible to do that. You cannot change your organization unless you take out membership. So enough said for now. I'll say some other things later on, but I think we wanted to open up the conversation to understand what are some of the issues and what are some of the concerns. And it's important for quite a number of reasons. We, as people will know, meet regularly with the local council and other organizations where we're talking about the issues and concerns for our community. And it's important that we hear the voices of the community in saying so. So please, we also have a chat function on here. If you, I don't know if you're familiar with Zoom, but where it says participant at the bottom of your screen, you'll see something that says chat. If you click on that, it does allow you to write something which then we can all see and we can respond. I mean, I think a couple of colleagues, Agri, you can see, and Amadou, are going to keep an eye on that as we go through, so we can try and pick everything up. I think we can even look at picking up issues around things like the vaccines. We don't have an experts here, but actually we can sort of hear some of the concerns, because we're going to have a few conversations that allow people to talk about that. But this is not prescribed, as Favor said. It's an open conversation, and so would anyone like to say anything? Would anyone like to comment?
Clive, can I suggest that we have people introduce themselves?
Oh, yes.
Because we don't know each other, and we're about 20 in this group.
Yes, excellent idea. Okay, so I think you've heard who the two of us are. So can we just go around the room, the virtual room, very quickly, and people just say who they are? And maybe it might be helpful just to say, because we're looking at Africans, let's try and get a sense of a diversity to see where you're from. So I think Agri, you're going to come in where?
Yes, thank you, Clive. Good evening, everyone. My name's Agri Kanyanga. I'm the chairperson of Kenyans living in Hertfordshire. I'm actually one of the founding members.
Agri, can I just stop you? Can I ask people to mute their microphone if they're not speaking, please? Because we're getting some feedback.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Clive. Yeah, so I'm the chairperson of Kenyans living in Hertfordshire. I'm actually one of the founding members of that particular group. We founded our group in 2012. Officially, that's when we decided that we're going to form our group.
Okay. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Should we just go? Amadou, it looks like you're coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Clive, I was just to say, why not do it according to the names you see in front of you? For the
okay, so the next name I can see is Josie. So
it's changing.
Right, my name is Josie Oshisania. I'm from Nigeria, and I've been in Watford for nearly 20 years.
Welcome, Josie.
Thank you.
Next person I can see is Nicole, but you're muted, Nicole, so.
Hi, my name is Nicole, and I'm from Togo.
Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you.
Togo is in the room. And next to you is Eva.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eva. I'm from Kenya.
And Eva is also a part of the Waka board. Next is Rhoda.
Hello, my name is Rhoda Mezado. I'm from Ghana.
Okay. I'm not going to say welcome, Rhoda, because you know you're welcome.
Thank you.
Amadou, you're next.
Amadou from the Gambia.
Okay. And Amadou is also one of our board members. Oh, Yemi, I can see you next.
Hi, Clive. It's been many years. I don't know if you
yes,
remember me.
good to see you again, Yemi.
It's been a long time. So I'm Yemi. I was Yemi Dede. I think that's how you would remember me.
That's right,
I'm now
yes.
Yemi Otobo. So I'm from Nigeria, and I was involved in the African Caribbean Achievement Group network. It was a team at one point. So yeah, I just actually had the invitation pop up on my screen. So I'm really pleased that I was able to join. And would love to get involved.
We're really pleased to have you, Yemi, after all these years. It's a good while. Welcome again. Next, I can see Perline. You're in the room, Perline, so you just need to say who you are.
Yes, I'm Perline. I'm a member of WACA.
And you are from?
I'm from Jamaica.
Okay, all right, okay. Welcome. Next is Ira, and I know you don't want to say very much, Ira, but you're in the meeting. You need to unmute. Okay, Ira might be having a difficult, so we'll move ahead and come back to her. But Ira is, oh, yes, Ira.
Yes. I'm Ira Douglas. I'm a member of the association. And I'm from Jamaica.
Okay, right. Welcome, Ira, to this meeting. Monica is next.
Hi, my name is Monica. I'm from Ghana.
Welcome, Monica.
Thank you.
And next, I have someone who's referred to as TA. But you're muted.
It would have been good
sorry.
to see people's faces.
Sorry?
Sorry, my name is Tola and I'm a Nigerian. I live in Watford. I've lived in Watford for nearly 20 years now.
Welcome, Tola.
I'll pop up my picture. My camera is not very good at the moment.
All right, okay. Welcome in an evening.
I'll replace the flowers with my picture.
Yeah, all right, okay. Thank
you.
The flowers look very nice.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's no nicer than you do.
Thank you.
Next is Eunice. And you're muted.
Good evening. My name is Eunice. I'm a Kenyan and I live in Hemo Hempstead. Thank you.
Welcome, Eunice. And then we have Jen. Was the next person I was seeing?
My name is Joy.
Hello.
And I live in Watford. I come from Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your name is Joy, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Then I see Bissy.
Okay, hi, my name is Bissy. Yes, I'm Nigerian and I just moved into Watford in 2019. Actually just moved into the UK since 2019.
Well, you're most welcome, Bissy.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, I have Joanna. Joanna? Hello? We can't hear you if you're speaking. Okay, so I think there's been a bit of moving around. So did I hear from Femi previously? Femi? You're muted if you're speaking, Femi. Okay. I've got Valerie is on the call. Valerie, do you want to introduce yourself? You're muted too.
My name's Valerie Osborne. I'm from the Caribbean.
And she's a board member too. And I've got Marigold, and you're muted, Marigold.
Oh, hi, my name is Marigold. I live in Watford and I'm from Ghana.
Okay, welcome, Marigold. I think I've only got Femi, we still can't hear. I've got Femi. Femi, can we hear you now? We can't hear you. I think you're saying something, but we can't hear you.
Marcia.
Oh, sorry?
Marcia.
Okay, no, that's not. So we now got Marcia, and you're muted, Marcia.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry I was a bit late. I thought the meeting started at 6:30, so I thought I was really early. But anyway, my name is Marcia Johnson from Jamaica, and I'm secretary of WACA.
Okay, and I think we've only got Femi and Joanna, who we've not heard from, but Femi seems maybe the audio isn't working. Joe, are you able to say anything? Do you want to say who you are, Joanna? Okay. We will no doubt pick up with them if they are in a position to come in later on. Okay, so all right, Favor, shall we go back to the issue in hand?
Yes, please. So I was saying that it's an open meeting, and we want to understand and hear the views of everyone on how we move things forward. But we also want to understand what the challenges are and what the barriers are, and how we think we can come together as a community. Like Clive said, we are the same community. If they see us on the road, we are the same. And we face similar challenges, even though there are some unique challenges to some groups, but we face similar challenges. If the police want to do stop and search, they don't know who is a Nigerian or who is Jamaican. They will stop any of us. So please, I'm opening the meeting for people to contribute to how we integrate ourselves together and what the barriers are. I'm keen to know what the challenges and barriers are so we can begin to address them.
Can I just say, though, that when you think about this, no matter how simple it might seem, we are interested in hearing about it, because sometimes the little things become big things. So yeah, would anyone like to kick off with any issues, concerns, challenges?
Yeah, I could go first, Clive. I think one of the biggest challenge that we've had as a people is lack of leadership. When I say lack of leadership is, you know, we have leaders, but I think the vision of the leaders is, you know, when you become a leader, number one, there should be an element of sacrifice, self-sacrifice. Giving without expecting to get back to where you're giving. For example, when we started the meeting, you said that some people would ask you, Clive, if I join the worker, what is there for me? You know, that is a wrong way of actually starting. I say to a lot of Kenyans and a lot of people that I work with as part of Kenyans in Hertfordshire leadership is, when you join a group like this, the question you should be asking is, what can I actually give to the group? So, and that can only come from the leadership. Once they self-sacrifice, remember the steps we are taking now, we might not even see the benefits of it in our lifetime, but we are putting a foundation for our young people. And that should be our mindset, that we are actually laying a foundation for our youngship. So I think I'd like to see more and more leaders who are self-sacrificing for the sake of our community. I think the other thing is raising awareness and lack of representation. When we went around here, I haven't seen any Zimbabweans, and I have a lot of Zimbabwean friends. They probably do not know about this meeting. So there's lack of representation, or they probably, you know, they didn't know that Africans are meeting today. So that's one thing that we need to try and make very vigorously, to reach out not only to our own community, but because now we are speaking as Africans, to reach out to as many African communities as we can. And where there is no established community, let's help them to establish themselves using the different models. I mean, the Nigerian community is now well established, and you know, the Kenyan community is also coming up. I think the Ghanaians also have their own setup. So if there's any community like the Zimbabweans who are not yet established, let's help them to make the steps so that they can be established. And the other thing, I think, is just a question of trust. I don't know, for some reason, African people or Black people don't seem to trust each other. You know, you try and get some work done, and you are looking for someone other than a Black person to do it. I think we need to reestablish that trust, and it all starts with ourselves. We must be trustworthy people, so that when you join with somebody, they know that you mean good for them and that you're somebody who can be relied upon. If you break that trust, then you are just taking us back. So these are just some of the few things that come on top of my mind when I think of the challenges that Africa is having.
Thanks, Agri. The issue of leadership and trust. But you did also mention Zimbabwe, and actually there's a good Zimbabwean friend of mine who told me she was going to be on this call, and I haven't seen her as yet. So I've just sent her a message, so hopefully she should be joining us very soon. But there is a sizable Zimbabwean population around, and we want to make sure that they're included too. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Yes, Rhoda.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Listening to Sec Live, Favor, Agri, you all saying what I'm thinking. And Agri just nailed it. And talking about our leadership. Me growing up, one thing I hear from my background is our leaders always let us down. And we're always talking about our leaders. And as growing up, I've seen it, our leaders are letting us down. And I'm asking myself, what are we doing about it? Then it happened, we have traveled, we come to a foreign land, and we have so many of us. And sadly, I see many of us, by His grace, we get educated, we get good job, then we isolate ourselves from our community. And I'm asking myself, how do we help ourselves? How do we support one another? And as Clive said, when we get into trouble as a Black person, there's nothing like you are Jamaican or Ghanaian or Nigerian. But sometimes it's just some small thing. With my notification, the world we live in now is whom you know, whether we like it or not. And we have people like Councillor Favor, who have so much information and work closely with the council. Sometimes it's just a piece of information, then troubles could be solved. But because we are not united, we don't even know that. Last week, I had an encounter. A lady nearly killed themselves. They're not from our background. And it was over trivial issue, but she didn't have help. So she was fed up and she nearly took lots of medication. 3 a.m., the police and the ambulance have to rescue her. And I fell on Favor. And she did a good job. So I was asking myself, is that how we know people and they take their lives? Or because they were hungry in this time and they have children and they don't know where to go to? And I'm thinking, if only they know where to go to, there are information, there are help out there. But luckily, people don't know it. And if you don't know the where to go, you don't know. If you don't have the right information, you don't have the right information. So if by His grace, some of us have the information, they can signpost, and by His grace, some of us can hold other people's hand. I think we should do that to support ourselves. And as Agri said, this what we're doing today might not be beneficial to us, but to our children to come. Because I believe in when you educate your child and they get up there, and we are very happy to see them. Once they're out there all by themselves, knowing them to be Black child, I'm so sorry, they'll be pushed down really fast. But if they have themselves knitted, holding their hands up there, when they try to push one down, the others will be holding them. So yeah, I agree. We should have leadership. We should have a place to go, like have our own community, so we can fall on one another and support, sadly, the weak one among us, so we can all flow together, because togetherness we can stand. That's what I think. Thank you.
Thanks, Rhoda. You are, I suppose, reflecting our motto, which is together we can achieve. That's the motto of the association. But I think you also made some other points there about the importance of unity, the issue a challenge around information and support. And I think you've raised a big issue around having our own place to go. It's been a recurrent theme for us as within this organization for a while. And I know some of us have been pressing that. So I think we need to come back to that in time. Would anyone else like to come in? I know some people have joined us. I can see, and I don't know if it might be helpful for us just to let people know what we're doing, and people can just introduce themselves. I think I can see somebody by the name of Sue, I think, was come in. And we got Hilda and we got Olivia. We've been going around, just so you know, just people saying who they are and where they are from, because this is a meeting looking at us as Africans coming together. So would one of you like to unmute and just say who you are? Sue? Oh, Hilda, I saw you were unmuting.
Oh, hi everybody. My name is Hilda. I live in St. Albans, and I'm sorry I'm late joining the meeting.
Now, where are you from,
So
though? Not where you live. Where are you from?
I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm from Zimbabwe.
Welcome.
Hey.
Zimbabwe is not represented.
Yes, you're very welcome, sis.
Yes. And
thank you. So there was no representation from Zimbabwe at all.
Hilda, can we see your picture, please, if you don't mind? Because we were mourning that there's no one from Zimbabwe, so we're excited.
Very happy to hear.
I'm really excited.
Okay. Well, as it happens, I do know Hilda, so I know what she looks like. But
yeah, we know her, but other people don't know her, Clive.
Yeah, I can see. Oh, there is a. I can see that it says iPhone, but I know it's Noah. So Noah, would you like to introduce yourself? You're muted.
Thank you. I'm sorry I joined in late because I was struggling to join in. My name is Noah Kaindam. I'm originally from Zambia.
Yay!
Yay! Welcome. At least Zambia is represented.
Yes, it is now. Hello, Sue. Would you like to unmute? Tell us who you are, please. So what about Olivia on the iPhone?
Olivia has put a chat saying she works with Rhoda. She's from Ghana.
Ah, right. Okay.
She's one of our young ones. She's really striving. So I think she's feeling. She might be the youngest on there. So
right.
she's thinking, no, yeah.
We welcome her specially because we need the younger people.
We definitely do. So welcome, Olivia. Does anyone know Sue? Because we're not hearing from her either. Or I think it's a she, but okay. So look, so what we're talking about is what are the issues and the challenges that we're facing as a community. And I think we did make the point earlier on that it doesn't matter how small that issue is, how small that concern is, and whether it concerned immigration, education, health, housing, leisure, culture, what's happening back home, the vaccine, whatever it is. As an organization, when we come together, we can only be as effective as as the extent to which we address the issues that are of concern to our community. So anyone wants to come in?
I would.
Yes.
Right. I'd just like to say the first time I met Favor, I was excited.
Hello?
Mute your phone.
Can you
But
hear
I
me?
did it. I pressed the
Hello?
I have.
Yeah, as I was saying, the first time I met Favor, I was excited because I've been in Watford for quite a long time, and the visibility of Black people, Africans, Jamaicans, we were not very visible at all. You know, the first time I came in, I was looking, having moved from London to Watford, it was like a ghost town. There was nothing, I couldn't find anything. And luckily I met a lady in Asda, and I think she's one of Waka, Comfort.
All right, okay.
Yes, and she
Yes.
said to me, "You're new." And I said, "How do you know?" She said, "I've never seen you before." And that would, because Watford was so small at the time. So when Favor joined as a councillor, and I said, well, I can see this as we're not going to be visible in Watford as a community, because with Waka wasn't, when I came, I didn't know anything about Waka at all. There was nothing, there was no posters. I was looking for Saturday school for my children. It was just one day there was something in the town, I think it was a carnival, and somebody was handing out leaflets. So I asked the question, Watford Council is there, you can put things there, why is that not, why wasn't that being used as a visible point of contact for anybody coming into the town and so forth? So I'm hoping that with this now in mind and with Favor in place, you know, we will be visible, because I actually work for Watford Council and I have done for a long time. So in the sense of also Black people don't like to share, I'm sorry to say, we don't like to share things. We don't like to share ideas. We don't like to encourage each other. And I'm hoping that with this, what we've got now, you know, we will go forward, because we do have a lot to offer. And having been here now for nearly 20 years, it's, you know, I can see the changes, because when I came to Watford, the school that my children went to, my kids were the 4th Black children in that school. And I couldn't see how do we fit in. So I actually challenged the school. I am going to come in and explain to you my background, what an African school, I grew up in Nigeria before I came to Britain. So I went into the school to actually explain what my school days were like, what food we ate, and so forth, because my youngest son was very excited. He wanted his school friends to know he was an African and so forth. So since then, we need to showcase what we can do, who we are, and so forth, especially for the next generation. You know, and for me, you know, having done what I did, that day I cooked Nigerian food. I took things like plantain in before it's cooked, what it looked like. I dressed teachers in African clothes. And that went on their website. So that is showing that we are people that have good ideas, we can do things, and we can also rise up to the mantle. So I'm hoping that with Africans in Watford, we will sort of be out there showcasing what we can do. Yes. And again, it's trust, as the previous person have said.
Yeah. You know. Thank you very much, Josie. Actually, yes, Pearlie.
Can I? You can't see my hand, so can I come in at some time, please? Yes.
Yeah, one sec. Yes, Pearlie, and I will bring you in next. Josie, I think you've kind of raised a point that is an issue for all of us as African people, whether we're born in Africa or in the Caribbean, which is in fact the challenge. This thing about our unwillingness to sometimes share, and during Black History Month, I coined this term pulling up and pushing up. We've often been more inclined to pull down and push down. Yeah. And we actually, that's part of the challenge that we have. How do we kind of change that mindset? But actually, we also have a mindset that's not been particularly helpful even to ourselves, which is sometimes been a bit too secretive about our own situation, and that pride sometimes that we have that can sometimes get in the way. But I think you've also talked about things like visibility, which applies to the association as a whole. And I think you've also been inferring that there's a need for us to engage with the system, which is part of what Favor is doing. You know, we can't just let the system get the better of us. We have to try and see what we can do to make a difference that will improve the situation for our community. But Praline, yes, you wanted to come in.
Clive, I'm listening to all the speakers, and I have to say, and I think we need to let people know a little bit about the association. Now, talking about going into school, Josie, Clive mentioned Mr. Lusak, who was one of the founder member. And I've been in the association since came here 73, and is a couple of years after I was approached by one of the founder members, the founder member of joining, and I've been part of the association then. And one of the things Mrs. Lusak and I used to do with David Lake, who started the Saturday school, his wife, we used to go into the primary school, and I've still got a box on top of my wardrobe with letters the children wrote to me. We used to go into the primary school to tell them about my school days in Jamaica. I took the iron pot in, I took yam, you think about it. I cook ackee and saltfish, took into the school. Mrs. Lusak used to tell them an Nancy story, as we call them. I'm not sure what but the same sort of stories, folklores about Africa. We used to go into a lot of the primary school within Watford, and that was in the 80s, early 90s. We used to do that. So that has been done.
Yeah.
Sorry, Clive. Another thing I want to say about us as Black people, I used to attend the council meeting at the town hall that they have, council meeting that they invited everybody, the community. And you will have one chamber full of what I call Asians, whether they were Sikh, Hindu, whatever, it was full. Down the front, I can name them, you have about 8 Black people from the association. And we are our own fault. We don't put ourselves, we don't join in, and we're always too busy.
Yes, I think, Praline, thank you very much. I think it links up with the point I think that Agri made, and I think Josie's been making. The association has been around for a while, and there's lots of things that's happened. But for a lot of people who have arrived more recently, like Josie's been around and she hasn't been aware of this. One of the challenges that we have as organizations is that issue of visibility, and people who don't see what we do because it's not visible to them. As far as they're concerned, we're not doing anything. So we know within the association that we've done quite a lot, but a lot of people who haven't had that visibility haven't seen that, and they haven't been aware of that. But we are where we are now, and we actually have to look at how we move forward. And some of those things that we've done before, we may well need to do again because they're still relevant. But let's hear what the issues are for people, so that we can think about where we're going to go with taking forward some of those issues. They may have been old issues, but they are coming up again. Amadou, you wanted to come in.
Sorry, Clive, there are a few people that joined. Do you want them to introduce themselves?
Yes, that might be helpful before Amadou comes in.
We have, there's someone that joined Osa, and then we have another person, Linda's phone, and we have another one, Jen. Would you like to introduce yourself? We introduce ourselves and say which country we came from originally.
Okay, my name is Ama Osa. I am from Ghana.
You're
I've lived-
welcome.
Thank you. I've lived in Watford since, well, I first arrived in Watford in, I'd say, 2004. So yes, that's since 2004 till now. So I've been living in Watford. I just
Nice
heard,
to meet you.
yes, I saw a friend forwarded the link on to me, so I thought it would be a good idea to join. So yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for organizing this.
You're most
Thanks.
welcome.
Linda, someone has Linda's phone. Would you like to introduce yourself?
You might need to unmute. Where's Linda?
Linda, yeah. While we're waiting for Linda, another person, Jen, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
No, Jen is Joyce, my daughter Jennifer, who put her
Okay,
name. I've
okay.
already introduced myself. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So we're waiting for Linda.
Linda, if you're trying to speak, you're maybe muted. Where's Linda? I can't see Linda.
Okay, that's fine. We can proceed when they're ready to introduce themselves, they can.
Sorry, I can see Linda now. She's
Okay.
not muted, but we can't hear you, Linda. So it may be we have a chat function. So
yeah,
if you're not able to come through, you could maybe just put something in the chat. Where you see the question mark at the bottom, you can just write in there something.
There's a question I wanted to ask just to facilitate the conversation. Yeah, go on, Ahmed. Yeah.
Sorry, Ahmed wanted to comment.
Yeah, that's fine. Firstly, I would want to welcome all the people that have taken the time today to join in. I think you sort of going to be part of something that's been going on for a while, but hopefully with us all coming together, we can leverage what it is we've got now to go bigger and maybe achieve a lot more than we've been able to do before. But I think of the issues that I've had people have mentioned leadership, trust and everything. But I think in my time of being involved in these things here, we talk about numbers a lot of the time. But I think for those of us that have survived the issues that have gone on politically and all the costs that have affected us as an organization, one of the things that I've found we probably need to cultivate in ourselves going forward as a new setup is how we can influence what goes on around us. It's not just the numbers game. You can be present, you can be arguing, but are you able to influence? And I think, if you ask me, we've tried to punch above our weight in the past, but I think we have lacked the ability to do that. So one of the things I'm hoping to see from this new setup is how we can combine and leverage networks. We talk about favor, we talk about other people with different skill sets to be able to influence things. Because I think somebody mentioned the Asian contingent, somebody mentioned getting a place. The Asians have had their own community center, or they've got one going up. Yeah. For me, for all the years I've been here, I think one of the things we're not able to live on the landmark, even for the youngsters coming in, if we want to meet, where can we meet? If we want to say, where's the legacy, where is it? So we need to be able to use, hopefully, our influence or build that up to be able to have something that really is credible enough to make us a force to be reckoned with in the area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amadou.
Thank you. The question I wanted to ask to facilitate conversation is, it sounds to me like this is the way I'm beginning to understand things, that people are saying there's poor visibility around us and what we do. And I'm just wondering, is it that there's been poor visibility around WACA itself that led to sort of non-engagement from the African people from the African countries? Or is there any other reason why we haven't been able to engage as much as we should, and so that we form that unified bond? I would leave people to contribute to this.
Okay, Joyce. I've been to Watford from 1991, and I never heard of you guys. I never heard of you guys because nobody in our community as a Ghanaian is part of you to actually introduce the meeting or the people that run this. I only got to know this through Rhoda. Rhoda is my child. I am adult. As I said, I've been to Watford 1991. So imagine, I never knew any of this. I remember when Women's Center used to be where CNA used to be, and I only been there a couple of times to do computer calls with the Women's Center. And that's all about it. That is the facility I ever used as a Watford community, as African. But mine, at the moment, I'm so glad and I'm so happy because my daughter Jen, she's 23. And as Agri said, we're not doing it for ourselves now. We do it for our generation. I might be gone, but I don't mind if I can leave anything for my grandchildren, which will be Jennifer children. So now I'm willing to come into the board because now I know and I've seen my time is gone. Because when I was looking for help, I didn't get any of that. I struggled my own way to get what I'm get to. But that doesn't matter. Today is today. As Clive said, we go from today. My only advice or my contribution I will try to make is I will try my best to get my fellow Ghanaians who they cannot come into this meeting we're on, because some of them didn't go to school, they can't read, they can't speak English properly, so they don't want to join in like this, okay? So what we can do is, maybe, I don't know about other culture, maybe there's somebody in Kenya too have that issue, and sometimes they don't feel comfortable to come forward to speak because it's all about English and it's all about expression and it's all about explaining. So I think my contribution, I'm so glad I am with you guys today, and I am going to put myself forward, and I will go and grab those people. They got ideas, but they can't express themselves, and that's what I would do. So nice to meet all of you, and I'm so glad I meet you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joy.
Thank you.
Great team.
Thank you.
Somebody had actually put something in the chats regarding the cultural gap. I think Marigold in school, and that raises the question as to whether or not, and maybe linked to what Joy, it is Joy, isn't it? Joy was saying,
yes.
About actually there are some challenges facing parents where they may need some support, and for example, potential bridging that sort of cultural gap, that knowledge gap, that awareness gap in relation to the school and our children. And what I would say is that those of us who from the Caribbean, because of the fact that we've been here for longer, may not face exactly the same problem, but actually back in the 60s and 70s, we faced exactly the same problem on bridging that gap. So some of us have some awareness and some understanding of some of the issues too. And I think together we ought to be able to find some way of bridging those kinds of gaps that exist. Did anyone else wants to come in? Because Favor did ask a question. Noah, did you want to come in? You're muted.
Thank you, Clive. I'm sorry, I came in a bit halfway through the hour. I don't know what had been said before, but listening to what has been said, the issues tend to be the same, and they seem to be coming up almost every time. I mean, it comes to me that perhaps the methods we have been using to reach out to the community have not been very effective, because I first came across the association in 2004 through a member of the community that I met who introduced me to the association. Now, over the years, we have interacted with quite a number of people, either through work or through the association. And some people have not stayed and have gone. So I think there are a lot of layers as to why we don't quite often interact with our own communities and with the organization within our own communities. there are issues that we need to deal with. I think if we have to go forward, we need to be honest with ourselves. One of the things is that perhaps we don't have faith in ourselves, or we have been made not to have faith in ourselves. And so we don't have the confidence that our own institutions and organizations can be effective in serving us. And so we try and keep away. And also, we still have the legacy of slavery, the legacy of colonialism. We are victims of the philosophy of divide and rule. And we tend to look at ourselves in small compartments, whereas actually the world looks at us, whether you're from the Caribbean or you're from Africa, what part of the world, as long as you're Black, that's how you're defined. And that the problems that Black people experience are the same. So yes, there are cultural differences between countries and regions, but there is a lot that we have in common. So I think it is having that desire to say, okay, this is our organization, let us support it in whatever way we can and make it successful. I think it is having people that can do that. And I'm not saying that because Clive is here, but over the 20 years I have known Clive, I don't know whether there are many other people in Watford who have been able to give themselves to the community as Clive and a few other members have given. But we can't only rely on a few people. We need to come up ourselves and see how we can work together as a Black community. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Can I just ask people again, if you're not speaking, if you can maybe mute, because we get disturbance from time to time. Anyone else wants to come in?
Eva has raised her hand.
Eva, yes.
Yeah, hi everyone. For those who are not here when I introduce myself, again, my name is Eva, I'm from Kenya. And I'm just going to echo a few things that almost every speaker has said, starting with my leader, Agre. We were saying about leadership. For me, it is the undermining of us, ourselves. I'm from Ghana, I can't deal with Kenyans. Or leaders need to listen to each other. Or leaders need to listen to what the other members are saying. For example, if I'm a leader of the Kenyan community, for example, and someone comes with an idea, I should take that idea, and it doesn't have to come from me. I would take that idea and move it forward. And if, for example, I go and I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of Ghanaians, probably because I do a lot of hair and that, and I would invite someone and they say, oh, is that a Kenyan community? No, we need to tell our people that when you're invited somewhere, just go and listen. For example, in this, I can see, I actually thought Kenyans are very united, but I can see we are very few, yet my group has got a very strong leader. We are over 100 people, and it is the same. I'm going to work, I don't care, I don't do this. And then another thing that Amadou mentioned, it's influencer. For example, we've had a lot of issues with youth, and we were looking for criminal defense lawyers. For example, on top of my head, we had few issues with youth last year, and I personally had to go to East London or ask, do you know any solicitor or anything? Because if you go to Watford, Watford police station, you'll be surprised how Black youth are treated. But because we don't know, or we don't have an influencer in Watford openly. So another thing is there was, sorry, I'm being random. And before I finish, we have a website, a business website from Waka. We just in the process. I think Amadou can tell us more about it. This business website is for everyone who can share what can benefit all of us. If you're a nurse, I assume if you have this, for example, a lawyer, and these are people that are really needed. And like LBC, someone posted somewhere, I think the only person who had seen that post probably is Agri, about a radio, LBC radio, which was just this week. And the question was, why are Black and ethnic minorities dying more from COVID in hospitals, and why don't they want to take the vaccine? So a doctor comes in and says, that is daily. There is nobody to speak for Black people. And a consultant comes and says, this one is going to ICU and this one is not going. White is going, Black is not going. And they're having difficulties because we don't have, again, as an influencer or someone we can say, look, we need someone in Watford Hospital. They need to address this thing that is happening to us. And also for someone, we don't have to call Jim McManus. I know this man personally, but I don't even know when he sleeps because he's the only one who seems to know about these vaccines and stuff. But if you look at it, half of the information he gets is from us. We are very intelligent people, Black people, but we need to accept that and work on it, you know? So that is another point I think that as a community, all of us, we should, you know, think of the best way forward. And that's me.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Eva. That's very helpful.
Can I, okay, you wanted to, can I just clarify two things while we have more conversations? Is it Joy? I'm sorry to hear when you needed help, you were unable to get help. But there's something I wanted to clarify. The fact that some people cannot speak English very well shouldn't be a barrier in our community. And I'll tell us why I said that, so that when you go back, you can reassure them. I work with Asian counselors a lot. And when we have events, a lot of them don't speak English as much as we do. To be honest, within the African and the Caribbean community, we have people that speak English a lot, in all honesty, compared to some people in the Asian community. And also they have different countries, Pakistani, Kashmir, India, and all that, just like we do. But these things don't constitute barriers to them becoming visible and taking their positions in the community. So regardless of how well you speak English or you don't speak English, we're still the same family and we can support each other. I've been where Asians came in and they put their they put their thumb. You know how back home people put their thumb when you go for election. So I've been there, they brought them, you know that a lot of them are taxi drivers. They brought them and they were just putting their thumb where they were told to put their thumbs. But they don't speak English, but they were still influencing the outcomes of what will happen in Watford. So we must, take that into consideration and not try to look down on anyone because they can't speak English. And that's one thing a lot of people have complained to me about. Because they can't speak English, some people look down at them. We shouldn't do that. Whether you can speak English very well or not, we're still the same family. And the other point I wanted to make is in terms of seeking support. Rhoda did say that when she had that issue, she contacted me and I was able to sort that woman out. But the issue is we need the resource within ourselves as a community to know who to go to when we have these challenges. Eva, there's a Nigerian solicitor that deals with things like this. Well, we don't even know. It was until I organized the Nigerians in Watford that I found out. So we need to begin to pull these resources together. We have these resources within. Sorry, my thing is bouncing back.
It was
sorry. Yeah. So we still like to hear from more people what we think are the barriers where we can come together as a people, especially under WACA, because it has bothered me for a very long time. Initially, when I came to Watford, it was one of the founding members again that saw me at the bus stop and told me about WACA the very first week I came to Watford. But initially, when I started engaging with WACA, I was worried why there were very few people from the African side in WACA. And when we do, when they say, what's it called, Black History event, we all go to the Palace Theatre to sit down and do all those things. When we are such a rich, diverse culture that we can display, and our children can learn a lot. The little we did in the Nigerians in Watford is still a talk of the town, because we displayed the richness of the Black culture. So I don't know why we when I came to WACA, I was struggling, to kind of navigate these things. And some of this is maybe part of the reasons why some people are finding it's kind of not part of who they are, because we need to be who we are, not to be ashamed about it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Agri, you wanted to come in.
Okay, I'll wait for someone else.
Okay.
Sorry, who was that hadn't spoken? Please, it's great to hear from people who haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, I think it's Linda.
Okay. Oh, hello. I'm not really into meetings or anything anyway, but Rhoda actually told me about this.
Okay.
And I said, sorry, I joined late. I actually forgot to tell you about it. So I joined in late. Don't really have much to say, but other just introduce myself to say my parents came to the UK in the 60s, and I was born in London, but I was taken to Nigeria when I was about 5. So I spent most of my life in Nigeria, and then we all came back in '92. My other, probably my family, my siblings, everybody's in London. I'm the only one here, probably with my own family. We moved to Watford 2004. Just from my own point anyway, I think things are better now, maybe in my own point anyway. I'll tell you why. When I first moved here, I was a bit skeptical to put my kids in this primary school that was in Abbott Langley, and I'll tell you why. And when I got to the school, there was only one Black family there. I don't know if you know where Abbott Langley is anyway.
Yes, we do.
Okay, yeah. So it's not too far from Watford if you think about it. It was shocking to me to find that it was only one Black family, and that was 2004. But saying that though, after that, other Black families started joining and stuff. Then we were the second, and I think 3 or 4 or something like that joined. So I think maybe the problem is, from what I find, just like we mentioned about Asian community and stuff, I've dealt with a lot of Asians because I'm an optician. So all the time, all the places I've worked with Asians I'll say for most of my life anyway. I think they click a lot, but I think with us that we Black communities, how do I put it? We alienate ourselves in a way that, say we're Afro-Caribbeans, people want to say, maybe I'm Nigerian, I'm Ghanaian, I'm Kenyan, I'm this and that. But I think the problem is that we don't have that unity. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from.
We do. You're not the first one to mention it, Linda.
Yeah, I think that's actually the major problem. So I think it would help it was good that Rhoda probably put me, and I said, okay, I'll just have a look and see what it's all about. It's like us coming together, telling other people what's happening. I never knew there was anything like this anyway. And sometimes it's good to know there's something like this. I think I contacted Rhoda just maybe about a month ago to tell her about lessons for my younger kids. I've got older ones anyway, those that finished uni and everything. And then she told me how she joined the community. But I think when I went to the school, I actually expected to see more people. Yeah. And I think the problem is that maybe a word of mouth will help, but we don't help each other, because it's like, if you know there's something like that and you tell other people, then that's how we all know.
Linda, I don't know if you were on when I made the reference to the notion of pulling up and pushing up.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So I sort of coined this phrase over Black History Month last time, because for so long I've heard about people pulling each other down and pushing each other down. And I thought, actually, we need to reverse that and start pushing each other up. So when you're down below, you push the one in front up. When you're above, you pull the other one up. So we need to reverse it. And we can only do that if we have a unified approach to what we're seeking to do. And as was being said, maybe before you joined, when we walk down the street, we're not a Nigerian to the racist society we live in. We're not a Jamaican or or a Kittition or a, we're just like Stephen Lawrence all those years ago. Not much has changed in that sense. And Noah's made reference to the impact of slavery and colonialism and so on. And a lot of us don't believe or don't understand the continuing relevance of that. You only have to look around to see how many of us in Africa are skin bleaching, for example, and stuff like that. And you think, we're beautiful people. Why do we need to do all of that? We are still suffering from the yoke of all of this years of oppression, which hasn't ended. And the only way we're going to be able to do that, whether it's Africa or here, we're going to have to come together and recognize that our fate is in our own hands. Sorry, Agri, you were going to come in.
Thanks, Clive. I think one of the things that maybe we need to also address is the male representation. I mean, if I look at this this forum where we are sat here, there's only 4 men on this forum. So yeah, I would encourage those who have you know, male partners on here, please go and encourage them and drag them along in sessions like this. You know, when they hear what it's all about, they will be attracted to it and they would like to join next time. The other thing I would like to also talk about is economic empowerment. You know, someone talked about the Asians and them always getting involved. The reason why is because they have businesses and their young people join those businesses from an early age, and they use forums like this through their businesses. And you know, they have to join those because they are interlinked to their businesses that they're doing. I don't think many African people are economically empowered in that way, where our young people will automatically join our organizations and know that these are Black organizations. And if we are empowered in that way, we will use those organizations to influence the people who are on those organizations. And then the next thing I would like to request is this conversation on this forum. I can see that you are recording this, Clive. If you can share with all of us, and let's go and share this conversation around, because many people might just think it's one of those usual ones. But let's share so that people can see that this is a different direction we are taking.
Thank you very much, Agri. You've made a good point about economic empowerment, and it links back to Eva's point about our business, Black Business Network that we are working on. And the motive behind that is to say that we've actually got to begin to promote our own opportunities that we're having. So to make a little bit of an advert then, if anybody is on the call who is in business or know people that is in business in our local area, we want to be able to connect those people up. So if you could let us know, we'll want to make sure those people are included on this business network so we can support each other. I regularly go out of my way, even where it's not particularly convenient, to go and get my African food stuff from down at St. Albans Road from one of our own people. And I must admit that it looks like, pleased to say, it seems, although it's caused me a little bit more inconvenience, there are a few more people of us are doing it. I went there today and I had to wait quite a long time to get into the shop because there's so many people in front of me. And that's what I want to see more of, that we're actually uplifting ourselves, uplifting each other. Would anyone else like to, who hasn't shared particularly, I'm going to come to you, but I'm just, is there anyone else who are, oh, sorry, Ilda wanted to come in, who hasn't said anything yet.
Oh, hi. Sorry, the reason why I haven't got my camera on, because I haven't got my teeth on and my wig. So, so now so I can't come out and be seen. But next time I promise to be ready. I think one of the things that I don't really want to go on and on, because I think every single point that has been raised today, I totally agree with it. And I think my point is, I think we need to start thinking about how we change the narratives as people of African origin, and I include that our Caribbean colleagues, because I think we can't keep repeating the narrative which is unhelpful to us and which actually doesn't enable us to progress. I think we need to think about how we can reach out to some of our colleagues, perhaps who are on a different point in a different journey to us, or on a different point in the journey. And because I think we're in a different point, so that's why we see the value in this. But how do we then enable or even connect with people who are in a different point in their lives in terms of their identity, and also cultural connectivity that they're prepared to do. Just thinking from my own community in Zimbabwe, we work incredibly hard, and we have so many pressures, coming from back home in terms of supporting multiple families. And I think the little time people have is that we use that time either to rest or maybe to connect with our local churches. So I think, Clive, what might be really useful is, and I think churches tend to be powerhouses for the Black community. I think as an organization, maybe we need to think about how do we make those connections with churches, because I think
Via the churches.
Sorry?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, my mic is on. I was just reiterating what you say. Sorry, I'll turn.
Yeah. Oh, right. No, that's fine. And I was just about to. How do we work together with different aspects of the community, the Black community, to try and be collective and to become more powerful? And I think one of the things that people are talking about is the cohesiveness of the Asian community. I mean, maybe I have rose glass tinted glasses. When I look at it, I kind of get a sense that their church, or whatever you call it, or was it it tends to be a bit more fluid with their culture. And I think they tend, and I wonder whether we can think about the different functions that we have and how we can create that fluidity. I mean, that's all I have to say. I just think we really need to change this narrative if we're going to influence, and create really a better world for our children, because I think our children have got a very challenging future ahead of them, with so many things that are flying about. We don't know what the consequences of the pandemic will be. We don't even know what the consequences of leaving Europe will be. And I think we need to think about how we position ourselves in this very it's going to be a really challenging dynamic going forward, or landscape, I meant to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Hilda. I can see some of my colleagues who have already spoken have got their hand up, and I want to come back to people. But can I just check if there's anyone who hasn't said anything as yet, would like to say anything about what we have been talking about? Because I'm conscious, of course, we don't want to stay all night. So anyone who hasn't said anything yet, just thinking of people like Nicole, Bissy, I think, have we heard from Olivia? Any of you people who haven't said anything as yet would want to say anything?
Okay, my name is BC. I think I'll just, everything that I've been hearing, it's kind of new to me, because like I said, I'm new to the environment. I moved in here into 2019, and the whole of 2020, everyone was locked down at home, and we're almost in that, so a lot of the things I'm hearing are new to me. And I just think that for me at the moment, I just want to hear more and just support and contribute as time goes on. I've sent an email to Waka to be a member. So I just want to see how that takes me, just to be part of the community and, pick up from, everybody's experiences. But I'm pretty new to everything, and I can't really say I have any issues right now. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. Olivia, or did we hear from, I think we did hear from Linda, don't we? Or Eunice, did any of you want to say anything? Oh, us, I think we did.
Okay, this is Eunice.
Yeah.
I think I agree with everything that everyone else has said, but I tend to think that the main challenge that we face as a people is the fact that we lack trust in each other. I don't know why. And it seems like it's something that goes very deep. You find that whether we are at work, wherever we are, we just don't trust each other. We don't, we don't say the truth to each other. And so I tend to think maybe we need to think of ways of how we are going to approach this, because as much as, we have this group and we are trying to go out there and reach people, this is a problem that actually is going to take a lot of, it will have to take a lot of minds, we bring the minds together and think about how we are going to approach it until we deal with that trust issue. I tend to think we still have a big problem ahead of us. Back to you.
You're on mute, Clive. You're on mute.
Have we had any new people who have joined us who we've not heard from as yet, in terms of just saying who you are? Can we see? Well, I know.
I can see we have Emmanuel Tuatil.
Yeah, Emmanuel, would you like to unmute and say who you are, please? Okay. Okay, I think we do need to try and wind down, but there were some hands up, and I know Amadou wanted to say something first, and I think I saw Eva had her hand up at one point, and I think Rhoda also wanted to say something. We are going to try and wind down since we've heard from most people already. I note the questions that is there from Marigold about what's the expectation from, and after this meeting, we'll try and address that after we've heard from these people in terms of how we move forward. And then, I'll ask Favor if she has a final word before we sort of just try and summarize and try and say where we're going. Yeah, Amadou.
Just a couple of points, thanks, Clive. Agre mentioned this thing about economic empowerment. What I was going to say is, Agre, is it possible to connect with you and maybe Eva as well, so that I can just really maybe involve a few people from the worker end to tell you what we're doing and see how we can come together on that front. Is that okay?
I think that's okay. I think Agre is muted at the moment, so
yeah. I'm here, Clive. I'm here. What was the question again? Sorry, I just went offline a little bit.
Right. I was just saying that I would like to hook up with you and Eva so that I will tell you what we're doing on the economic empowerment front to see how we can join forces on that front. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be very nice. Thanks, Amadou.
Thank you.
Okay.
Clive, my second point was going to be, somebody mentioned trust.
Yes. More than once.
Yeah. I think firstly, what I want to say is, as somebody who's been working for all these years, I have found that is not an issue for us, because what you see is what you get to a certain extent. So if that's an issue, what I found is important with this thing is just be honest, and I think that helps deal with it. So hopefully we can learn from each other in that point and really make it not an issue going forward. Thank you.
A good point, Amadou, just to emphasize that point, that we tend to operate on the basis of transparency. We don't believe that the business that we're in is something to be hidden away. Because we recognize that in our community, the issue of trust is not a new one. It's been around for too long and it's still around. So we try to make sure we're transparent to actually make sure that isn't. So it's not about trust. It's about us working together, recognizing that there's accountability and so on in place. I think, Eva, did you want to come in still before I go to Rhoda, and then I'll come back to Favor?
Yes, it's a quick one. I think I need to go back because I actually need to congratulate and appreciate Councillor Favor and Clive. Actually, now going back to Favor, the first Black African woman to be elected in Watford, if I'm not wrong. And I am very proud of you, Favor, because I think she's part of reasons why we are here. It was a very good idea. But what I'm thinking is, before we go, I'm just suggesting apart from knowing where we come from, I'm from Kenya, I'm from here, what these other communities, the Ghanaian communities and even Nigerian communities, do you have anything we could share? You could share what you're doing as an introduction, because I would like to know what others are doing. And for a quick one, I'm going to introduce I as individual, what I'm doing and in the community. I think everyone has heard about One Vision. One Vision, I'm one of the management leads, and someone said someone was suffering because they didn't have food. We have a lot of food to give to the community, and you don't even need to call me now. There's a central line where you can call, and if you want some food stuff, it's there. And then another thing is I am now part of Watford Borough Council as a mental health facilitator, and the website is coming up soon. So mental health is increasing. And just today we had a conversation that mental health now is not for poor people or for people who are lonely. It's actually now affecting almost everybody. So if you're lonely and you need to speak to someone, I'm going to put the website there. And as usual, we've got worker. We've got Kenyans in Hertfordshire. The chairman is here with us. So feel free and please let us know what you are also doing in your communities.
Okay, thank you. Rhoda, you wanted to come in.
Yes, thank you. Thanks everyone. It's going really well. I'm really pleased with the meeting. Yeah, so firstly, I was going to talk about Marigold, who asked a question, what is expected of us as individuals from here? Yeah, we've talked about lots of the problems, and for me, it's coming back to what is our leaders doing, what is who doing, and I'm saying, what am I doing? And as Agri started, it's like, what can we give to ourselves? So when we're going back and how we're going to do this, one thing I'm going to say is we have to have in mind, we are people of different caliber and different experiences. From the lawyer to the doctor to the cleaner, we all have to be respected. As we're talking about trust issue, as Auntie Joy said, people won't come on the Zoom meeting because they're thinking they're going to be speaking English. It's all these educated ones. But for we to get together, we need to go down to the bottom to the cleaners. We need to go down to the bottom to those who are struggling to even have documentation. I know there's this thing with us. Once you are there, you are British, you are documented, you are there. I can't speak to that one. With that, we are not going to go ahead, because once they have children, we have children, they're going to meet together, and their culture from their home, they come and influence your child. You have been educated so high, and sadly, they all meet together and they all join the gang without you even knowing. So for us to trust one another, we need to respect one another, regardless of our experience, how highly educated or how good job you've got. That's what I've got to say. Thank you.
Okay. Now, what I think we now need to do is, I think, address the issue that I think Marigold has raised in relation to the next steps. I've jotted down one or two things, but Favor,
Clive, I think Osa wants to, is it Osa? She have her hand up.
Oh yes, Osa, yes.
Okay. I just want to say I really appreciate this meeting happening, but before we go, I'm just wondering if we will be able to have to put in place a networking sort of a networking platform where we can help each other, where we can help our children as well. My children are young at this stage, but I believe there are people who have teenagers, who have university going children. We need to create sort of a networking system where we can mentor our youth to be able to move on into workplaces, helping each other with referencing and all that, because I think this is what the Asians are doing. They're helping each other in that way. Yeah. Whereas I must say, I don't have a network around me. I'm here on my own. I don't have any siblings here. I have people in London and all that, but in Watford here, I don't really have anyone around me. And I just know that there are people in the same situation, where if we're able to build a network where we're able to advise people on what, if you've got someone who's going off to university, if you know someone else who's also interested in doing the course that you're doing, if we can help each other to sort of mentor, I just feel that that'll be a good thing for us to put together to be able to help ourselves.
Thank you, Osa. Well, let me just say, we do have a network of that sort already. We have something called what we call the community. It's a WhatsApp group which has people locally from our community primarily, and if you if you're happy to join, because it's really, if you don't have the people on these networks who can offer the support, then the support is not going to be available. So what we're trying to do with that network is we call it the Community Affairs WhatsApp group, meaning we're concerned about the issues for the African community. We can also develop from that subgroups with respect to that. One of the things we're also looking to do is to get a mechanism whereby we can share skills and understand some of the skills that people have. But I think the first step in doing that, I would say, and the best network in relation to that is actually the association itself. And I put on the chat how you can actually join, because actually the association is your network. But I see, Amadou, you were desperately trying to get in.
Sorry, ignore me. It was an accidental hand raise. Sorry.
Right. Okay. But I think you raised some good point there about really together we can achieve, which means that we have to try look at how we come together to support each other in the different ways. So when somebody needs a hand up, we're there to offer a hand, and when somebody needs a push up, we're there to give them that too. As we come
Clive, sorry, Clive, with the 25 people that I can see here, have we got their connection, or because not everybody came through your invitation, they were invited by other people? Do we have record of the people, or how will we contact them again if there's something and we feel we want to speak to someone in particular?
Okay, so I put in the chat the way in which you can get to connect across the board. We send information out through a number of methods, but if you just email what we call hello, it's in the chat, hello about WACA, hello@wacas.org.uk. If you want to become a member, if you want to find out more about the association, because actually, Pearline, you've reminded me of something I wanted to say. The most effective communication around this or almost any other issue is word of mouth. And some of you, a lot of you have not been here. You're here because somebody actually spoke to you. Somebody that you know told you about this. And actually it's important that we use the resources of ourselves to make sure we spread the word. Because this association is your association. The WACA is your association, but you have to own it. You know, it's not enough to say, oh, that's somebody else's business. Favor, I think we need to talk about where we go from here. I mean, I think there's a lot of ideas that came out of this meeting. Did you want to say anything else before I just pull out a few of those things?
Oh, no, I just want to thank everyone for making out the time this evening to come. This is just the beginning of the conversations and the work that we need to do in our community. So please keep faith with us. I know that we have to earn your trust as your leaders. We're going to work hard to earn your trust. So keep faith with us. And I'm just chatting to say, Clive to say, is there a way for us to get a record of people that attended this meeting today so that we can plan for the next one after we have mulled over some of the ideas that came through this evening. We're going to set up some action plan, and we're going to come together again to have further conversations. And from those conversations, we may have to have different work streams to work on different things. But it's good that we have started this conversation. Something that is so unique that have come through a lot tonight is support for our young people. Virtually everyone has spoken around that. I actually became a counselor because my daughter had a very horrible experience in a school where another child refused to play with her because she's Black. And I challenged that, and I became a school governor. And from that's how I actually eventually became a counselor. But that shows that this is a recurrent issue that we need to begin to think about how best to support our young people. But I will leave it at that, and I will leave Clive to round up, and we figure out how we get everybody that attended today to maybe to join the Waka WhatsApp group, or that if we create a new group so that people can keep in touch and we can continue this conversation again.
Yeah, that's an option too. So T.A., I forgot what you said your first name was.
Yeah, sorry, my name is Tola. I was just going to say, because we have a few representatives from the African groups, Favor for the Nigerian one, and I think there's somebody from the Ghanaian one. It might be good if, because the Nigerian forum, for instance, they post things on it. So if the details of how to get in touch with WACA, all the different ways we can get in touch is there, then, and maybe Favor, I know she's promoted it in terms of come to the meeting, but maybe now if she puts a link there, maybe people might take that up, and the Zimbabwean and the Kenyan and the other groups.
Yes, thank you very much. So as Favor said, following this session, we are going to reflect on what's come out of this evening, and there's quite a lot that has come up around leadership, the fact that we, as a number of people have talked about, the issue of trust, the issue around community engagement and the support that we are able to provide for each other, the resources that we have available to ensure our success, issues around our economic well-being and some of the challenges around that, the engagement with mainstream schools, and the support for our young people, and so on. I have to say, there isn't anything there that is rocket science for us, but actually it really reinforces some of the important things that we need to think about going forward. I think that judging by this meeting, it really would be helpful for us to have a follow-up where we seek to engage with even more people to kind of reflect on how we're going to be able to build on tonight to create that sort of a plan of action which we can take. I would suggest that one of the things that, as I said, that people who are on this call tonight become ambassadors of us coming together on an umbrella, which is currently Watford African Caribbean Association. Membership is free. I haven't put the, if people email us at the LO at WACAS, I've just put the link in there again. We'll send you the form so that we can formalize that, and we can build that strong foundation that is going to take us forward. But if we all commit to spread the word and to try and bring us together, that's going to be an important next step for us to take this forward. I wanted to mention a couple of things that are happening that you should be aware of, and if people can contact us, then we will make sure you get information about these things. So we are part of a Hertfordshire County Council sort of led what they call a Black, Asian and minority ethnic sort of network. And on the 16th of February, there is a session being organized. Some of you, if you are on our WhatsApp group, would have received that. There seems to be a problem with the link. I'm trying to sort it out by Monday, or as soon as I can. I'm not in control of it. And there's a virtual session on looking at our mental health. I think our community needs to be well represented. So if you can, I think it starts at 5 o'clock if I remember correctly. So if you can, please join that so our voices are being heard. I should also say that one of the things that we are doing is that we have a meeting with Watford Borough Council on a regular basis, and it's a meeting with our community. It's not just a meeting with the Watford African Caribbean Association. So I would like to invite all of you, if you are available when those meetings are taking place, to join in, because I'm afraid I was embarrassed at the last one that actually there were more white people in this meeting talking about our business than there was our people they're talking about it. So, and I would like to think that won't happen again. The issue of our education, the education of our young people is really fundamental. So on the 24th of February, we are organizing a session that we're calling Supporting Our Children's Education. There's a whole range of issues that concern the education of our children, particularly during this pandemic, that we need to address to make sure that our children don't end up falling behind, because education is going to be fundamental to the future in this very competitive world that we're in, and it's going to become more so. So that is going to be at 6:30. If you've not got an invite and you would like an invite, and you know other parents or people with children or children that they're guardians of, then please just email us on again, hello Wakas, and we will send you the link to join in on that session. And actually, we are going to have another session looking at COVID specifically, because we know that we're in a strange situation where some of the reports in the press they indicated that 70% of our community don't want to have the vaccine. Now, I know the issues around this, but actually in a situation where the white world is fighting to have the vaccine, and saying that they don't have enough of it, because they've recognized that there are some issues that we need to think about our well-being, and we need to think about that too. And one of the things we have to do to start with is to make sure that we're not involved in spreading any misinformation around this. And the first thing I suggest to people is that before you post on stuff that people send you about this, do a bit of fact checking. And if you can't do the fact checking, don't bother to circulate it, because that's causing a whole lot of damages. And we got fragile mental health issues around already, and we want we don't want that to be a continuation. So we are, strangely enough, I believe we have become in some ways more influential during COVID, because what it has done, it's shown a light on the racism that we've been subjected to, and very few people can ignore that. But unless we can come together to begin to look at charting a way forward, that could be a lost opportunity, and we don't want to do that. And I hope you agree with that. So I would say next step is that we're going to encourage you all to join. We're going to reflect on the things that have come up here tonight. We're going to, within the association, we're going to consider all of these issues. I believe from what I've heard tonight, and tell me if you feel otherwise, put some in the chat if you think so. We'd like to have a follow-up meeting, which might bring even more people together, because we are conscious that some people, for whatever reason, don't necessarily make the connection. And so we want to make sure everybody can see this is your organization. Take ownership of it. Somebody made reference, I'm going to wind down now and say, somebody made reference earlier on to the fact that we're not going to be around forever. I'm very conscious of that right now. I came down with dengue fever about 11 months ago, and it's really made me realize that actually, you know, I might not have it tomorrow. So, but we need to continue as an organization. We all need to begin to be a part of that. So I'd like to just say thank you all very much for joining in tonight. I hope that what has been done tonight has made you conscious that there is a reason for us to unify and to come together across the world of those of us of African origin. And as I'm going to end where I started, where Peter Tosh says, wherever you come from, we're an African. And we have to come together because of that. Yes, somebody wanted to come in.
Me, Pearline, I did say I wasn't going to say anything, but I just this is just me saying, in WACA, we have a sickle cell group. We are struggling for members. We cannot get any parent or sufferer of sickle cell to be part of the group to educate us on the problems that sicklers have. If you are interested and would like to join with us on that, you can make yourself known on the email you sent to Clive, and then we will contact you when we're going to meet with Dr. Brett to do the discussion, or a community nurse.
Thank you, Pearline. Let me just mention briefly, because we do want to wind down. We do have a number of groups within WACA, so the sickle cell is one. We also have what we call our Thrive Youth Project, because and somebody mentioned our young people, and we are operating virtually at the moment, but we hopefully COVID will not be around forever, and we'll be able to meet face to face. And we also, for those of you over 50, we have a 50 plus group which also seeking to function virtually at the moment, and you've heard about the business initiative and so on. So it's about all of us coming together to create a better world for all of us. So unless there are nothing else to
Sorry, Clive, can I just say quickly, I know we need to wrap up at 8 p.m. I put my number on the chat just in case anyone is struggling to send email, because sometimes we assume that people can use the medium that we're saying they should use. So just in case someone is unable to send email to Hello WACA, if you want to send me a chat or call me, I could help to direct you for whatever you need to do. And we need to give that option to people.
And I've just put my phone number there under the chat, because if you wanted to join the WACA Community Affairs, I'm the administrator for that. So if you just send me a message, it's 07801 947204. It's in the chat, but I know people don't always see the chat. So, and if you wanted to join that group where you get immediate information about things that are going on, then please just send a text message with your name with your name, because I'll have your phone number, and we will.
Clive, you sent it to me. It's not to everyone. Let me resend it to everyone.
All right.
Let me send it let me give some time for people to take it down if they want to write it down.
Anyway, we're not going to close down this immediately, because we'll continue with a bit of conversation with a few of us. So by all means, look at the chat, take down any information there. So I think you can see our two numbers there on the chat. So please don't be strangers. We may not have met before, but actually we're brothers and sisters wherever we're from. And you will be assured that actually whatever may have happened in the past is not an indicator of what needs to happen in the future. We need to come together to make sure the future is that we chart that future that we want for ourselves. So I would say, I'll end with our motto: together we can achieve. So have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you for joining us, and we will be in touch unless you don't want us to. Okay. Okay. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Favor,
Thank
I'll
you.
email you on Monday.
Thank you.
Please do.
Okay, just yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night,
Bye.
all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was very nice of you guys. And the thing is, I can't even find my photo, my profile.
You can't find your profile?
No, it's disappeared from the screen.
I'm seeing you.
Where? Where am I?
But Eva, what I'd say is great to see you tonight. But I want,
where am I?
Eva, I want to see you on every meeting.
Can we, those of us that are waiting behind, can we see your pictures, please? Because we need to have some conversation.
Flavor, you don't want to see my picture. I've had my hair washed.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I've got my.
And Emmanuel, we never did see who you.
I've got my hair in rollers.
I've seen you. Yeah.
Emmanuel, it'd be great to see you.
Got my hair in rollers. You see?
No, I don't mind at all.
Oh, good.
Emmanuel, are you still with us? And Joanna, is that Joan Allison? Because you didn't respond. Hello.
Yes, it's me.
So why didn't you respond earlier?
I couldn't. For some reason, I kept getting feedback.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And we got Emmanuel. It appears you're not muted, but we're not hearing from you, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Okay. So
right. You don't need me now, so I'm off. I've been on Zooms all day.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
That's all right.
Marcia, did you manage to pick up some of these names for some notes you were taking for us?
Picked up. I wrote down all the names that was on the program.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I mean, some of them it's just first names, but I did write them. I wrote down what was ever on their profile. I wrote it down.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
don't know if that's helpful. We don't have any information. We don't have any addresses, but
no, it might help when we can at least have first names anyway. So
it's recorded though, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, I better stop.
So we need to stop recording now, Clive.
Start recording or stop.